The Forgotten Legacy. The stars beyond the observation deck of Aurora's dawn burned with ancient light, each one a testament to civilizations that had risen and fallen long before humanity ever looked up from Earth. Captain Aiden Core stood motionless, his reflection ghosting across the reinforced viewport, watching the massive structure that loomed ahead. The Elendar Citadel, a station so vast it could swallow Earth's moon whole. "They're ready for us," Dr. Lena Rouse said quietly, stepping beside him. Her dark eyes held both excitement and apprehension, though I'm not sure ready is the right word, more like tolerating. Aiden allowed himself a thin smile. Humanity's first official contact with the Elendar Dominion had been 3 years ago, a moment of cosmic significance that Earth had celebrated for months. But the Elendar? They'd barely noticed. To them, humans were just another primitive species taking their first stumbling steps into a galaxy already ancient beyond comprehension. "Let them tolerate us," Aiden replied. "We're not here to beg for acceptance." The docking procedure was flawless but cold. No welcoming delegation, no ceremonial greetings, just automated systems guiding them into a berth clearly designed for smaller, less important vessels. When they finally stepped into the Citadel's grand concourse, the message became even clearer. Elendar moved through the space with fluid grace, tall, luminescent beings whose very skin seemed to shimmer with inner light. Beside them walked the Krell, towering and armored, their multiple eyes scanning everything with military precision. The Vryn floated past, their crystalline forms refracting light into rainbow patterns. Dozens of species, hundreds of cultures, all bound by the Dominion's laws. And then there were the humans. 2 of them, walking through a gallery of cosmic giants like children in a museum built for adults. "Ambassador Core, Dr. Rao." The voice came from an Elendar whose robes marked him as high-ranking. His name, they'd been briefed, was Celester Vane. "Welcome to the Citadel. Your quarters have been prepared in Section 7. Section 7. Lena's voice held a note of understanding that Aiden immediately recognized. Section 7 is where they housed new species, probationary members, the galactic equivalent of the kids' table. "Your species has much to learn before full integration can be considered," Vane continued, his tone polite but dismissive. "The Dominion has maintained order for 17,000 years. We have protocols, standards. Your people have been spacefaring barely a century." "We appreciate your patience," Aiden said evenly, though something burned in his chest. Not anger, something more productive, determination. The next 3 days were a masterclass in condescension. Humans were permitted to observe council sessions, but not speak. They could access public archives, but not restricted databases. They were studying humanity, Aiden realized, like anthropologists might study an interesting but ultimately inconsequential culture. Lena spent most of her time in the archives anyway, her scientific curiosity undeterred by the slight. It was on the 4th day that she burst into Aiden's quarters, her tablet clutched in trembling hands. "I found something. Aiden, I found something impossible." She thrust the tablet toward him. On the screen was a mathematical sequence, complex, elegant, and unmistakably familiar. Below it, an image of an ancient structure on a planet called Ashir, one of the Elendar's oldest colonies. "This is the Drake equation," Aiden said slowly. "Earth, 21st century. But this was carved into Get Temple Wall 8,000 years ago. And that's not all. Look at this." She swiped through images, more structures, more symbols, star charts that matched Sol system, anatomical diagrams that could only be human. "Aiden, they're everywhere. Dozens of worlds, all predating the Dominion, all predating every known civilization." "The architects," Aiden whispered. The architects were legend, the mysterious species that had supposedly left behind the ancient technology and structures that jump-started galactic civilization. Every species had myths about them. The Elendar believed they were ancient gods who ascended to higher planes. The Krell thought they were warriors who conquered death itself. "They weren't gods," Lena said, and her eyes were bright with tears. "We were here. We were here before. Somehow, we were here before." Aiden felt the weight of the revelation settle over him like a mantle. For 3 days, they'd been treated as children playing in the ruins of giants. But what if humanity wasn't the newcomer? What if they were the ones who had built the playground in the first place? "We need to verify this," he said finally, quietly. "If we're right, Lena, if we're right, everything changes." She nodded, already lost in thought. "There's a site,
planet called Viridian on the outer edge of Dominion space, completely off-limits, ancient architect ruins perfectly preserved. If we could get there, then we'd know for certain. Aiden looked back out at the stars, seeing them differently now. Not as markers of alien territory, but as breadcrumbs leading home. Get me everything you can on Viridian. Every restriction, every security protocol, every reason they don't want anyone going there. What are you thinking? Aiden's reflection smiled back at him from the viewport, and this time, it wasn't thin or diplomatic. It was the smile of someone who just realized they were playing a much bigger game than anyone knew. I'm thinking, he said quietly, that it's time humanity stopped asking for permission.
The awakening. The Aurora's dawn slipped through the Viridian system like a ghost, her stealth systems, human-designed, naturally, performing beyond even Lena's optimistic projections. The planet below was a jewel of blue and green, untouched and pristine, wrapped in orbital defense platforms that hadn't been activated in centuries. "They're not expecting anyone to be stupid enough to come here," Aiden muttered, guiding the ship through a gap in the sensor grid that Lena had identified. "Which means they're either hiding something or protecting something. Or both," Lena added, her fingers dancing across her console. "Aiden, I'm picking up power signatures from the surface. Active power signatures. Those ruins aren't dormant." They landed in a clearing 3 kilometers from the main structure, a pyramidal complex that rose from the jungle like a mountain of precisely cut stone. As they approached on foot, Aiden felt a strange sensation building in his chest. Not quite déjà vu, but something deeper. Recognition without memory. The entrance was sealed by a metallic alloy that had survived millennia without tarnish. Lena ran her scanner over its surface, frowning. No visible access mechanism, no control panel, nothing. Aiden stepped forward, drawn by instinct he couldn't name. He placed his palm flat against the metal. The door recognized him. Light bloomed beneath his hand, not the cool luminescence of a Lindar technology or the harsh glare of Krell machinery, but warm, golden, unmistakably human. Patterns spread across the surface like neural pathways firing, and then the door simply opened, folded into itself with a whisper of perfectly maintained mechanisms. Biometric lock, keyed to human DNA. Aiden, this place was built for us. Inside, the air was fresh, recycled by systems that had run for thousands of years without failure. The corridors were sized for human proportions. The symbols on the walls were Proto-Sanskrit, Proto-Sumerian, Proto-everything, the root languages that all Earth's tongues had grown from. And everywhere, evidence of a civilization that had mastered technology the Dominion still struggled to understand. The central chamber took Aiden's breath away. It was a cathedral of knowledge, walls lined with data crystals, holographic displays frozen in time, and at its heart, a pedestal holding what could only be a log entry system. Lena approached it with reverence, her hands shaking as she activated the interface. It responded immediately, projecting a 3-dimensional star map of the galaxy. But this wasn't the galaxy as they knew it. This was older, much older. "Recording located," a voice said, synthesized but unmistakably speaking English, ancient English. "Archive of the Exodus Fleet, final entry, Captain Sarah Chen presiding." A figure materialized before them, a hologram of a woman in a uniform that was completely alien and hauntingly familiar. Human. Unmistakably human. "If you're seeing this, then you made it back. Humanity made it back." Her smile was tired but genuine. "We didn't think you would. After the collapse, after Earth became what it became, we thought that was the end of us, the end of everything we'd built across 100 worlds." Aiden and Lena stood frozen, watching their ancestor speak across an abyss of time. "The plague came from nowhere. It didn't kill us. That would have been mercy. It unmade us, stripped away our memories, our technology, our very identity. World by world, we forgot. We forgot who we were, what we'd accomplished. We became primitives on our own colonies, cargo cults worshipping the ruins of our own civilization." The star map shifted, showing world after world going dark.
the infection spreading, an empire of light fading to embers. "We sealed the archives," Shen said. "Everything we knew, everything we'd discovered, every world we'd touched, we left keys, genetic keys that only true humans could unlock. Because we knew, somehow, that even if we forgot everything else, we'd remember how to dream, how to reach for the stars, how to become spacefarers again." Tears streamed down Lena's face. Aiden felt his own throat tighten. "And we left something else," the hologram continued, her expression growing grave. "The plague wasn't natural. It was a weapon. And the species that created it, they're still out there. The harbingers. They destroyed us once because we grew too powerful, too quickly, because we threatened their dominion over the galaxy." The star map shifted again, showing a region of space at the galaxy's edge, pulsing with ominous red light. "They're not gone," Shen warned. "They're dormant, sleeping, but they'll wake again, and when they do, someone needs to stop them. Someone needs to remember what humanity was, what humanity can be. Someone needs to stand where we fell." The hologram flickered. "We built this network of archives across 100 worlds. Each one contains knowledge, technology, weapons. Everything you'll need to reclaim what was ours, to protect what will be yours. The genetic keys will open them all. You just have to find them." Shen stepped closer, her eyes seeming to look directly at Aiden. "Whoever you are, whenever you are, welcome home. The galaxy belongs to its architects. It's time to rebuild." The recording ended. The chamber fell silent except for the hum of ancient machinery and Lena's quiet sobs. "We weren't the newcomers," Aiden said finally, his voice rough with emotion. "We were the first, and then we were the forgotten. And now we're the returned," Lena finished, wiping her eyes. She looked up at him with fierce determination. "Aiden, we have to tell them. The Dominion, the other species, they need to know. They're living in our house, standing on our foundations, and they have no idea what's coming." Aiden nodded slowly. "They won't believe us at first. They'll call it human arguments, fabrication. Then we show them. We open the other archives. We prove it beyond any doubt." Lena's smile was sharp now, almost predatory. "We show them that the primitive species they've been tolerating just became the most important species in the galaxy." "And then?" Aiden asked quietly. "Then we prepare for war," Lena said. "Because if the harbingers are waking, someone needs to be ready. And that someone is us. It's always been us." Aiden looked around the chamber, this monument to human achievement, human loss, and human resilience. 3 days ago, they were nobodies, probationary members of someone else's club. Now they were the inheritors of an empire, the children of architects, the last hope against a threat the Dominion didn't even know existed. "Get everything downloaded," he ordered, "every byte of data. Then we go back to the Citadel. And tell them what?" Aiden's smile was grim, "that the real owners of the galaxy just came home, and we have work to do." Above them, in the cold void of space, the stars burned, the same stars that humanity's ancient empire had once spanned, the same stars that new empires had risen to claim, the same stars that an ancient threat was stirring beneath. But now, humanity remembered, and, remembering, they would rise again. The architects had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same.